just come watch the show. To know what to do, just jump in the queue. It's tailored to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue. It's tailored to you. All in the queue. Just check out the view. All in the queue. The show, to know what to do, just jump in the queue. It's tailored to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue. It's tailored to you. All in the queue. It's check out the view. All in the queue.
One thing for sure and two things for certain is I'm never going to hear you out if what I'm hearing is stupid. I'm not going to hear that. I'm not going to receive that. That's not my ministry. A lot of y'all sit and give too much of y'all time and effort to people who don't deserve it. Why would you be listening to somebody telling you that 2 + 2 is 92 when you know it's not? That is a waste of my time. It's not of the kingdom. It's not. And I would not subject myself to foolishness, okay? Because I don't like to consider myself to be foolish, so I don't want to sit with it. No, it ain't nothing we can do. We done talking. I'm done talking. I'm done listening as well. Yeah, so I don't know who needs to hear that. I hope it reaches you and I hope it touches your spirit. Stop entertaining foolishness. Because people will start seeing you as foolish or somebody to be played with. And I don't like to be played with. Go play Atari. Go play some spades, but don't play with me. All right, love you, bye. One thing for sure.
If you're in a situation and someone's being disrespectful to you, don't fly off the handle, man. Here's some advice. Look down, take a deep breath, look back up and make direct eye contact, and then whisper, "Your mom's hello." Let them know, punk-ass tricks.
Child, that man cracks me up. Do you hear me? That man cracks me up. I love him so much. He says everything I cannot say. That's why I love him. Okay, let's get to it. Let's speak. How y'all doing today? As you can see, we are here today for the Thornton Township recap. I hope that you can see me. We're in the new studio again. Hold on, let me adjust the camera a little bit. Is that better? I think that's a better view, maybe. Somebody gonna start hollering about my head being cut off. And I mean, child, that ain't even really, that's not even really the issue. You shouldn't even be worried about that. Okay, here we go. Let's see who in here. Let's see. Hey, Strawberry Shortcake, how you doing? Hey, Jody. Hey, Butterfly Girl. Hey, Jim C. Hey, Mama. Hey, Miss Prima Donna, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hey, Dave Bryson. Jeffy, I don't know who that is. Okay. But hey, all right. Now, don't y'all get too crazy in these comments today, okay? Because listen, I got that block anointing today. Okay, I have that block anointing. If you want to try the block anointing, come over here and be saying something crazy. Okay, because you're going to get the block anointing today. And all my mods, you have the power of block anointing today too. When you get annoyed with somebody, you warn them and then you block them. We having a block service today. So if you want to be blocked, come on in here and act ignorant, because we're going to act ignorant with you. All right? All right. Be blessed. Love you. Bye. All right. Let's go. So, today we are going to have a recap, right, of the meeting that we were at yesterday. Okay. So, got to the meeting yesterday. Let me just, do a little preliminary, and then we're gonna go into what we need to go into. Hold on, put some up. Okay, so I'm gonna just talk to you for a second. I can see some comments, so you're gonna see me look down here, but I'm gonna try to look into the camera today. Okay, so got into the meeting, right? We get there and we're even further back than we were the last time we were there. So someone, no, I told someone, I said, well, I wonder if Miss Janelle is coming tonight, because she already expressed that she could not hear because she wears hearing aids. So I hope that she's able to hear tonight, because we are even further back. And then they had all of these blowers on the floor. I don't know if because of all the rain that it flooded down there or something. We didn't see any remnants of water anywhere. But they had like all of these blowers in the room. I mean, there were like tons of them. There was 2 by me, there was 2 in the back, there was 2 in others, and they're all blowing at the same time, making all this noise. And I'm like, okay, so we way back here, and you got these blowers on, so we can't hear? Oh, okay. So you don't want us to hear you lie. Okay, cool. No problem. All right, I get it. And so then, hey, Wyman guy, how you doing? Yeah, it was like, Jeffy, it was like, when you work in construction and something, they trying to dry it really fast, them high power blowers. That's what was all, they was on the floor everywhere. I was like, what? So you set up the chairs and you leave the blowers blowing? Or the blowers supposed to have been the fans? My mic is turned down. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me now? Make sure y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Y'all let me know before I go forward. Okay, good. I'm gonna turn it down my head a little bit. Okay. All right. So yeah, so all of that was on the floor, and then people were signing up for public comment, and somebody talked about Nate, saying that Nate was coming, he was gonna make a public comment. I said, not if he don't get here on time, because if he don't get here on time and it's too many comments, they're gonna shut the comments off again. Okay. Right, why I'm gonna get low key. We don't want you to hear, but you don't want us to hear you loud or what? Okay. I mean, all right then, but whatever. So let's talk about the public comment situation. Because last time they cut public comments off, they said at 30 minutes. So let's review that, because I have that. So let me know if you can see this ordinance. I'm gonna make it bigger. Hold on, I see it circling. Okay. Can y'all see it? Is it big enough for y'all? I can make it bigger. You just need to let me know. I'm gonna wait a few minutes because I know it's a lag. They look like itty bitties on the phone because SP was so far. Man, that thing was crazy. So now I'm gonna have to switch up. I'm gonna have to go get this GoPro so I can zoom in tighter, which is fine with me. I don't have no problem with that, but man. Anyway, can y'all see the ordinance? Okay, perfect. Everybody can see it good. All right, so this is the ordinance. I was telling someone there was a post made in one of the groups talking about public comment and this, that, and third, right? About the public comment time limit and all of these things. So the meeting after the swearing in is when they voted and passed this ordinance right here, which is ordinance 25003. An ordinance establishing rules governing meetings of Thornton Township Board. Okay. So this is the ordinance. I'm going to take you to the public comment portion. If you happen to FOIA for this ordinance, it is on page 11 that it states this. So on page 11, under rules for public speaking and participation at open meetings, you go to F, and it says time limit for public comment. The public comment portion of the meeting shall be limited to 30 minutes. And they passed this ordinance on their first official meeting after their swearing in. Now, for me, I don't know if it was that the trustees didn't read this ordinance and they didn't know that that was in there. I would hope that I would rather they tell me that they didn't read the ordinance, that they passed it without reading everything. Because me, if I was a person, then if I was a trustee sitting there, I would say, I would like to have discussion, and I would like to strike line item F under section 3 of public speaking and comment, the 30-minute time limit, because I feel like everyone needs to be able and be allowed to speak. I mean, Lil Stank did. And right, Wyoming gal, you talking about 17 municipalities. 17 municipalities. And who knows who could come to these meetings at any given time. There was a list. I mean, there was a list yesterday. So for me, if I was a trustee, y'all need to start reading everything that you get and not skimming it, reading it. I don't know when you get your packets, because since the clerk is on social media, so she says, I don't know when y'all get your packets, but when you get them, this is a request from me. I would like to request that you read them in their entirety, so that you know what's in there. Because 17 municipalities, 30 minutes, is that really a fair assessment of time? Even so, if you're about transparency, everyone should get to speak. It shouldn't matter how long that takes, because if they showed up to the meeting, then they showed up for a meeting, right? And meetings take however long they take. Right. That's right, Mama God. They don't want to see you. They don't want to hear you. They don't want you to comment. They have no discussion. They are signaling don't need to bother to come. That's what they signaling. They definitely signaling that with all of the security. How much is the security costing? Because now you have extra people there. Then you have these ropes out like we at the club for the VIP section. Now the media has been moved all the way to the back of the room, completely all the way to the back. At least Tiffany would let them be on the side so they could get, they're gonna get their footage regardless. But she did understand that they have a right to report. But they are all the way in the back of the room now. And so I'm just, man, we understand that you're a senator, right? But you chose a local position. That means you was going to be touched by the people because it's a local position. All of this to me just feels like disrespect, right? It feels like a photo opportunity is what you came here for. because election time is coming. There's petitions already circulating. Let me get in here so I can make sure I get all the photo ops I can and give the optics that I respond to the community, or that I engage with the community. And when all actuality, the only thing that you do is lean in and take pictures with the community. That's it. Because we definitely are not having a dialogue about issues in the community. But I just wanted to show you all the ordinance and where that came from. And they passed it unanimously. So there's that. So, you know, I don't know what can be done about it. I'm not sure at this point that the trustees can even be approached or talked to, because now it's almost like they have security. Now, I will say that Byron did hug us outside and everything. So some of the trustees, and I don't think I spoke to Chris this time, but usually I speak to him, after the meetings or before the meetings. So I'm not sure how the other people are moving, but Byron and I know Chris Gonzalez, they are still, talking to people before the meetings or after the meetings, and they are still speaking to people. So, yeah, that's what I know. But, I just find a lot of this behavior to be odd. But let's keep moving, okay? So let's go to the meeting. I'm going to use my own footage. So shout out to me. I'm going to use my own footage. Let me get my notes, because I have some notes here. Now listen, now that we are transitioning this channel, right? We are transitioning. Thank you, by the way, if you have not hit the like button, hit the share button, or become a member, please do that. At the same time, like I said, we are transitioning this channel to giving information and reporting, and you're going to get my honest opinion when it calls for it, and you're going to get my critical thinking when it calls for it. Right now, I'm in critical thinking mode because we are at a crossroads, right? We are at a crossroads because we got rid, or you thought you got rid of one dictator, and the only thing you did was really take on another one, maybe. Now, let's look at this footage, and then we'll be able to talk. Hey, it's Crazy. How are you? We'll be able to talk as we go along about some of the things I have a question on, or some of the things I'm gonna make a comment on. Let me get past this. These so here I was just talking about how far back we were, and again, this is very far back. Before, I don't know if you could see, but before we were maybe a little bit closer, but now you see the VIP roped off situation, and then over here to the it will be your left of the screen, if you can see my mouse where Ryan's head is. There is a security guard standing there. He's very tall, very, very tall. I would say he's probably like 6'3" or something like that. Standing here. And then you had Officer Storm over here. You had another officer in the doorway. And then you had yet two more officers that were kind of up the stairs. And so it's a lot of security, a lot more. Then you had that one, the one that fell on the floor during the fight. He was sitting at the desk. So how much is all of this extra security costing? Butterfly Girl, do I think he's TIF 3.0? Just asking. I'm going to say this. You got rid of a super mayor and got a super senator. Huh? Say what? You got rid of a super mayor and now you have a super senator. You draw your own conclusion. Hey, Justin, how you doing? Okay, so we're gonna go forward. We talked about the distance, and I told you about Janelle. We talked about the security. And so let's go to public comment. And see, there was Officer Storm over there, standing over there. Trina cracked me up. Let me tell you something. There will be no Trina slander on this channel. All in the queue. I know you see me. I came back because I'm like them two. Who asked you to marry you? You got me. I'm in here. I'm so dead. It's crazy. I said, hey. And that is so funny. Yeah, Trina had me rolling. I ain't even gonna hold you. Ain't gonna be no Trina slander over here. I don't have any problems with Trina. I speak with her. You know, people have their opinions about her. I feel like she's a Dalton resident. She have the right to speak. She's a Township resident. She have a right to speak. She also has a platform, so she has a right to her opinion. Everyone has their right to their opinion, from the activator to some people who won't be named on this channel. But from the activator to LNC to conscious to all them folks, they have a right to do their content, whatever that is. And guess what I got to do? I got the right not to watch them if I don't want to. If I don't agree, I have the right not to tune in. That's everybody's right. You have the right. And for me, for the record, we know y'all watch social media, okay? For me, yeah, that's what it is. Everybody has the right to do their content. I'm not gonna go over in somebody's chat who I know don't like me and go over there and start talking mess. I'm just not gonna do that, because that's not gonna end well for me. Because those people over there don't like me either. Right? So why would I do that? So we just have to, start being adults about things. If we drawing lines in the sand and we don't like this person, and we just stay over there with who you like. I'm not trying to be nasty to anyone or anything. I'm not trying to have beef with anyone. I'm not in that business. I'm not in the business of making burgers. I don't do that. Right? I'm just trying to mind my business, do my content. Now you start some mess with me, I'm gonna start some mess back. That's for anybody. That's for anyone. Okay? But as it stands, Trina is, it's so funny. Okay? And she was just outside giving her honest opinion, and I'm going to tell you what she said, because she cracked me up after I came outside, because I didn't know what was happening. So as you can see, Trina came up to the mic, and let me let you know what she said, what happened. Hold on, let me go back a little bit, because this was freaking hilarious when it happened. Hold on. Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all. The shenanigans have already started.
Yes, I want to make sure that those things aren't waste. I'm sorry, are you Amir Shakur? Today, I identify as Amir Shakur today.
If you didn't hear what she said today, I identify as Amir Shakur. People got the right to identify whatever way they want to identify. And today I identify as Amir Shakur. Boy, that thing took me out. Do you hear me? That thing took me out, okay? took me out.
Right, right, identify as a liar.
It's the Mission Court room. Okay, so we're gonna go to the person. The next person is Ramona Baldwin.
Excuse me,
You're not a Mission Court.
how do you know that?
I love the fact that she asked her, how does she know that? Because how do you know that? How do you know? She's telling you that she identifies as Amir Shakur. Okay, how do you know that she's not? I was with her. I was with the line of thinking. This cracked me up.
Facebook. At least we know for the record they watch social media.
We do.
Are you gonna get that
Ramona
143,000?
Baldwin,
Did you see how she tried to overtalk her when she asked, are you going to give that $143,000 back? Right? Did you see that?
Thank you, Ramona.
I'm sure he wanted to know if Napoleon was gonna get $143,000.
You have 3 minutes, Ramona.
Good evening, Supervisor, Harold, trustees, and residents. For the record, I am a resident of Thornton Township and Harvard. Also, I am a member of Thornton Township Citizens for Action Committee. I want to inform Supervisor Harold, trustees, and residents of Thornton Township. Harvard residents' rights are being violated by Jedediah Brown and INA members. Jedediah Brown is a provocateur. He is someone who intentionally provokes and incites others, often to anger or conflict. He is a person who stirs up trouble. The residents of Harvard no longer want Jedediah Brown and his INA members in our community. We want Jedediah Brown and INA members banned from Harvard meetings because he is a threat and a danger to the public. Jedediah Brown and INA members have beaten a business owner and trespassed repeatedly on his property. And also Jedediah Brown and INA members did a pump action July 14th, 2025 to Amir Shakur and his daughter, beating them and assaulting his daughter. I witnessed this mob action and it was traumatizing. By this violence, I am still in. Please stand with us, Thornton Township. Thank you.
Okay, so that's Ramona, and she gave her public comment. Now, I'm going to say something that's probably going to make a few people mad. For me, it is what it is. I have no problem with their fight about what they're fighting or what they're talking about or what happened. I have no problem with that, right? However, if you're going to talk about that, right, make sure you also talk about something that's relevant to the township. I know that you want the township to stand with you, you know, in whatever your cause is or whatever you're asking the township to do, but you should also make comments that are relevant to the township, because I don't know that I would take my 3 minutes and waste it on Jedediah Brown. I don't think that I would do that. If I need to make a comment about him, if I'm asking the township to do something as they were asking the township to do something, then I'm gonna make 2 statements that go together. That last statement being whatever they wanted. I think they wanted him banned from the meetings or from the venue, and then I would go into some sort of issue about the township, right? Because let's be clear, the township is supposed to give services. They really don't have any jurisdiction over Jedediah Brown and INA. And it's not too much that they can do about that. They can look at your concern about banning him from the venue and from the meetings. But as it stands right now, he has not disrupted a meeting since Napoleon has been in office. So I'm not too sure that he can step in right now as they want him to, because he's not done anything, right? And so because of that, maybe you should, just keep your comments to something that's relevant to that's happening um in the township, because there's a lot of questions to be asked about the township. And like I said, I would split up my 3 minutes, a minute and a half about, if you want to talk about that issue in your cause, and a minute and a half to whatever's going on in the township issue that you have a problem with as far as the township. And that's my take on it. As far as I'm concerned, when I go to the next meeting and I make a comment, it will be nothing about Jedediah Brown and INA. Zero. Because I don't have, and please excuse my language, I don't have, no, I ain't gonna do it, because sometimes somebody told me don't do it. Listen, I'm gonna do it anyway because this is funny. I'm not gonna waste my minutes talking about them. I'm gonna be, talking about the issues at the township, because I will sell a fuck before I give one. Okay? All right. Now, so, but like I said, I do understand their cause. I do sympathize with their cause. They have a right to protest and ask whatever they want concerning Jedediah Brown and INA. They do have the right to do that, as far as freedom of speech. But yeah, I will sell a fuck before I give one. Okay, so my comments when I go will be strictly about the township and whatever is going on there. I know. I just had to say that, because, like I said, I don't bother anybody. I'm over here on my platform doing work, and that's the way I'm gonna keep it. I don't agree with what is happening out there, the bullying, the cyber stalking, or whatever it is, the name calling, any of that. Just stay on your platform and do whatever it is you're doing on your platform, and you don't have to worry about any of these things. So that's the way I feel about that. And and me, I'm just going to ignore it because I don't care. So that was Ramona's speech. While I think it was a great one, I'm not sure that was the appropriate time to give it, right? Because he's not done anything at the township since Napoleon has been in office. So, like I said, he ain't gonna be really be able to do too much, until he does something. So we'll have to keep monitoring that. And I'm gonna tell you guys too, the Wi-Fi and the reception is really, the reception down there, down in the basement, is absolutely horrible.
Now we'll have Wendy Kelly Coleman.
Now, this is the comment. We're gonna get into it after she gives the comment. This is the comment.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just want to circle back regarding comments I made before regarding the food pantry. Still looking to get a status of the budget. The budget for the food pantry remains excessive, to put it kindly, as I mentioned at the last meeting. The $4.4 billion budget for this fiscal year does not support delivery of 50,000 meals. These numbers, it costs about $87 to deliver approximately $25 box of food. Based on the math, the food pantry, which is open only 1 day per week, with week-long meal deliveries, still does not support these numbers, and is blatantly excessive and likely inefficient. There's also been no explanation about the $1.9 billion line item in the food pantry budget entitled Other Expenses Food Pantry Donated. This number should be broken out and explained in more detail. There's money in the budget for consultants. I propose that this money be used to hire people to perform a deep dive into food pantry financials and process, the goal being one, to identify waste, mismanagement, and opportunities for improvement. Two, to implement these improvements so that they can do things faster, better, and cheaper, essentially doing more with less money. And three, ultimately realizing the goal of reducing our tax dollars. I'm sure that the savings potential of an audit would greatly outweigh the cost. The one good thing that came out of Tiffany Higgins' administration is that we are now watching the store and the cash register. We're smart people who respect the authority and responsibility that comes with your position. So we also want to be treated with respect as an informed and intelligent Thornton Township community. I look forward to your updates.
Now, this was the comment. Because of all the blowers in the room, I'm sure that it was exceptionally hard for you to hear what she was saying. So let's go over it. So what she got up there and said was, if you all remember, I went over some of the things in the budget. I said that the pantry also was a problem because there's a $4 million budget for the pantry. Okay, and so what she was saying, they are saying that the pantry is open 1 day a week. $4 million for 1 day a week. That's the first math that ain't mathing. So then she breaks it down and she says they are making the box. They are making a $25 box into an $87 box, which is not cost effective. Because why would you take a box that's $25 and turn it into an $87 box when you're supposed to be handing out food? Right? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you up the cost instead of trying to maximize what they get and keep the costs reasonable? Okay. She also was asking about a line item under the pantry that says $1.9 million for other expenses, with no explanation of what other expenses is. It's like when I made my comment and I said this budget was either done in error or it was done to blatantly show the residents where money was going to be misused. Okay? Okay, because you should be trying to keep the box either at $25 or I would say at the most $35. $87 is excessive when there's loads of other places giving out food boxes, loads of them. So that, along with the Highway Commission or the Road and Bridge Fund, those are two huge red flags for me. Now let's talk a little bit about this Road and Bridge Fund. Antoine came in late. He came in gritting down on the public. I don't understand it. I don't understand why he's so hostile. Because we're asking questions. Why you need $1 million to run a building that you won't even cut the grass at? Or that you won't even clean the yard up on the side? I mean, you're saying that the building needs to be upgraded. However, the grass could be cut at least. You done had 63 days to do that. So I'm not even understanding. Hey, French Wrench, how you doing? Let me speak to these people that just came in. Hey, Shanita Lanier, thank you. Hey, Collectibles for Sale by. That's what you think Wyoming got, a gift card? I don't know. The food comes from the Chicago Food Depository, right? So it already comes in a plain box, right? For me, why are you taking it out of a plain box and putting it in a white box with your name on it? It could stay in the brown box. It's just food. It is just food. Everybody know where they got it from. Oh, girl, I went and got this from the township. I'm so confused. Or you want your name on the box of that bed? Buy a stamp. Have somebody go there and stamp the brown boxes with your name on it. Because that'll be cheaper than ordering a whole nother box. They got to put the boxes together. Then they got to put the food from out the brown box into the white box. Where the brown box going? Recycle. Child, fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Lord. Okay? Yes, Shawnee, it's like re-gifting food. For what? Why are you taking it out the brown box? It never really needed to be taken out the brown box. Everybody know where they got it from. Somebody asked me, hey, where you get that food from? Oh, I got it from the Township, girl. They give out food every Wednesday. Go on down there and get you to the Harvey pantry. Hey, Grandma Beans, how you doing? So for me, that could be a savings right there. Right there. Okay? Just leave it in the brown box. Buy you a stamp that says Supervisor Napoleon Hurst. And when they get a box out, before they give it out, they stamp it. Somebody just run down the line and just stamp. Boom, 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 boom. They're going to take less manpower and less hours. But anyway, I mean, I digress, because who am I? Who am I, child? But that was the comment. See, these are the comments that need to be made when you come up for your 3 minutes. If you got something else you want to say, then split your minutes up, but make sure your minutes count. Make sure your comment counts. Right? So I'm just like, this is weird. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. I'm getting so many text messages today. I need to make sure everything's all right. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second. All right. I'm sorry. Little business there. All right. Yeah, so for me, let's see, boxes are expensive. I've had to buy some recently. Put money on safety, animal control. Yeah, I feel like the money for these boxes and, whatever excessive buying that they're doing for these boxes really is not needed, because when you're hungry, who cares what the box look like that the food come in? I mean, who cares about that? I know when I was homeless, I did not care. I give it to me in grocery bags. You could have gave it to me in some Aldi bags. I don't care. I'm trying to feed myself and my children. Hey, Master G, how you doing? So, for me, it's loads of other things going on, right? Our utility bills, everybody's water bill, everybody's light bill, everybody's gas bill, in some cases have doubled and tripled, right? So, you can have extra money to help take that money and help the residents, because these seniors that are on these fixed incomes, they're going to need help with their utilities. And it's probably going to be something that's going to be far beyond something that CETA can do, or, any type of budget billing, because fixed income is a fixed income. That's the money you get is the money you get. There is no more coming in. And these people still have to be able to feed themselves and all of those things. So, for me, leave it in the brown box. in my experience in volunteering at the church food pantry, the food comes in massive boxes, so it has to be repackaged so each recipient gets the same amount of food. I don't know, Mandy. I think in some cases, I'm not quite sure how it's all packaged, right? I remember when Lil Stank had them boxes out there on the pallet, and they were in the brown boxes from the depository, and when she opened it, everything was already portioned out in that brown box. So, but they used to have to get, like, I think the meats and stuff from Waltz. I don't know where they're getting the meat from now, because the Waltz out there in South Holland closed. But I know they used to have to add the meats to the boxes. That's what I do know. I don't know how these particularly come boxed, but even still, you still can reuse the brown boxes to portion it out. I mean, you got the manpower there anyway, so you just take them down, portion, reportion everything, and keep them in the brown box, and add whatever it is you need to add to it. But, again, even if you're going to get a box to put it in, what else are we buying that causes the box to go from $25 to $87? Let's say the box they get in bulk, right? And this is 1 day a week. We talking about 1 day a week they giving out food. One. You are spot on, SB. How does putting it in another box that has the supervisor name on the service to people? I'm just saying. Hey, coffee guy, how are you? Let's say you get the white box. You're giving out food 1 day a week. Let's say, I don't know how many boxes you're buying, right? For me, you need to make sure that you have somebody ticking off the cars that are coming to get these boxes, so that you can start saying, okay, this is how much food we're actually giving away. How many white boxes do we actually need to order, right? And then once we run out of white boxes, then the brown box is what they're gonna get, right? So for me, like I said, it doesn't matter what box it comes in. People just need the food. Like, give it to them in grocery bags. I don't know. Like that, this box thing and this extra charge, it's worrying me. It is concerning me, because bills out here in Illinois are tripling. And they took the line item for tax relief for the homeowners out of the budget. So loads of people are going to be looking for services as far as lights, gas, water. They're going to be looking for assistance. You got 17 municipalities to worry about. An $87 box versus a $25 box ain't one of them. They can get this brown $25 box and get this food, and we can put this money somewhere else to be able to have it ready for when, let me tell you, so with the changes that they're doing to Medicaid and Medicare, you got people on dialysis that live in these townships, right? In these municipalities, right? Well, guess what? Dialysis doesn't get paid fully by the insurance. There's a portion that the resident or the patient has to pay. And sometimes if they don't have gap insurance, they have to pay it out of their pocket. But if the township had a health care fund with these extra funds they send into the pantry, whenever a dialysis patient that live in the municipality needed help paying for their dialysis, they could go to the township and get assistance. Because that's what the township is supposed to be for. Services, not your ego. Services. Services. You're supposed to be serving the people. Lord, fix it, Jesus. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Next, we will have Mr. Dan Lee.
Dan Lee from Thornton. Greetings to everyone. And I don't want to get the flashback here. one house that I heard earlier today. I would just want to do a comment on these budget meetings. We had one here about a month or so ago, and we had one in Thornton yesterday. And the part I'm unclear on is, okay, yesterday we were allowed to ask questions and so forth. We got a lot more citizen output. I mean, input.
Okay, so I know a lot of people say they couldn't understand Mr. Dan. So let me tell you what he's talking about. He made a comment because they had the budget hearing at the township. We all remember the budget hearing. We were at the budget hearing. We saw Robert reading his responses that somebody wrote for him, whether it was Chat GPT or whoever wrote it for him. He was reading them. And so we saw that hearing, but that's not actually how a budget hearing should go, right? So the budget hearing should be just like they had in Dalton the other night. If you didn't watch that, go watch it. When you have the hearing, the residents get to make comments and ask questions, and they're actually answered on the spot. They're actually answered on the spot. The residents gave suggestions about where they would like to see monies go. If monies, if they would like to see something cut, like, oh, we want to cut this and put this money into a dog catcher, or paying someone to round up the dogs, and we want to take money from there and do that. And so that's how the budget hearing is supposed to go. You don't actually supposed to go up there like they did and make comments and not be answered. It's a hearing. It is a town hall like forum, if you will, that they were supposed to be able to ask questions, get an answer, and even give suggestions. Well, just like the lady with the food pantry issue, she should have been able to make her comment at the hearing, and somebody address why all that money was going to the pantry, and really break it down and say, this is going for this, and this. This is how much we spend on boxes. This is how much we spend in labor. And then she could have made the comment, well, why do we need to be spending all that in labor? And why are we changing the boxes? Can't we just leave it in the box? And then this, and this. That's how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to be an actual interaction and conversation between the community and the administration, and for them to gather suggestions and just really take in information from the residents. It's an involved process, right? So they didn't get that. So Mr. Dan is asking, when can they get that, or if they can get that, if they could talk about the budget a little bit more in that way. That's what he was asking.
I was just wondering, are we going to get to that point now, or has something happened that I'm not aware of? Okay. Secondly, I understand there was a food pantry designation of salary of an individual that's been somewhat controversial over the last few years.
Then Mr. Dan was talking about KP being let go from the pantry, which he was the food pantry manager. So Mr. Dan was asking if that position was being replaced and who it was being replaced with. Now listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. The person that's probably going to be put in that position again is probably going to be somebody from Harvey, and we just need to watch that position, right? But the thing about that position, so listen to this, I want you to catch this now, because that position gets paid out of the General Assistance Fund. Who has total control over that fund? If you know, put it in the chat. Who has total control over the General Assistance Fund? Okay, think about it. So it's probably going to be somebody from Harvey. The super senator has total control over the general assistance fund. So that means he does not need board approval to hire anyone in that position that he wants, because that's his appointments on that side. So the board don't get a say so. The public don't get a say so. I mean, the public should get a say so, and that person should be qualified. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be somebody from Harvey, because that's where it seemed like all the favors is going. Because we're gonna talk about something a little later in this broadcast that really pissed me off, and I'm really going to give you my honest thoughts about it, because it really sent me off. And I'm going to tell you why, but we'll talk about it when we get there. And so the senator has full, complete, and total control over the general assistance fund and anybody that gets paid from that fund. That's why you still have Tanika Hughes over there, who lied, who notarized that paper that the mayor of Dixmoor said he did not even sign. She is still working there, as far as I know, and probably still making the same salary as far as we know. Okay? So, yeah, this get ready to get funky de nerve out here. Anyway, let's keep going.
I was wondering if that position is going to be dealt with one way or the other, or it's going to be commented on at some point during this proceeding. I just wanted to ask a question about the food pantry, the resolution of firing of this individuals. Would that be something that's going to be discussed, and does that going to affect the food pantry operation in any shape, form, or fashion? I'd also like to just say to all folks that are listening, we got to not let these online hostilities spill over into our real lives. Okay? To some degree, you have control over that. So any online bullying going on, and all this other stuff going on out there, you can stop that by keep scrolling and ignoring the people that are doing it. Now, when it spills over in real life, that's a whole different situation. You might have to pull back from that online hostility stuff for a while, because all it does is mess your head up. It's complete waste, in my opinion, anyway. I'm not sure if all 17 of villages and towns have their budget meetings, but I would just like to suggest that all of us that are in this municipality, in this township, we should be able to have a little more input into the budget process for all of us, not just any one place, not just any one town. I think that would go a long way towards closing the gap between citizen participation and the reality that we have very low voting rates. I think that has to do with some of that. We have to know what's going on financially. People tend to lose interest. People tend to get suspicious and they get disheartened. I think the more input that's put into this budget situation, and not just once, in a while, we need to talk about various items that are coming up on a daily basis, not a daily basis, not even on a monthly basis. Let's keep us abreast of what's going on. That would be very helpful. And that's just for everybody. I'm not talking just about Thornton Township.
Time's up. Thank you.
Mr. Lee, Mr. Dan was making an earnest plea to the supervisor, but to me, if the super senator is not listening, if you when I turn the camera back, I think Ryan, if you go to Ryan's view, he's spanning the board while people are talking. Me, I don't think that the super senator is listening to anything. He looks zoned out. He's looking straight ahead, but he's not looking. You see how I'm just looking, but I'm not looking at the camera? Yeah, that's what I feel like he do when he be up there and it be public comment, because he doesn't care. He's gonna do what he wants to do because he feel like he a senator, and he's not normally down here on the local level. And the people that put him in office are gonna keep him in office, and he gonna continue doing favors for them or whatever it is he do for them that continue having them support him. And so, if things don't change, these public comments are going to get more aggressive and angry like y'all. They definitely are. French Wrench, oh yeah. I mean, that's what he do. If you watch the next time, I'm going to stand back to the to the board and let you see, because he is this like this. I'm looking, but I'm not looking at the camera, and I'm just looking. I'm not listening either. And so for me, yeah, Mr. Dan just made an earnest plea to have them be kept abreast of what's going on, to have a better conversation about the budget. And he didn't want it to be just at the township. He thought maybe they should go to different municipalities and be able to talk, maybe have like little, they call them workshops, about the budget. So you would go to, there's 17 municipalities. Then you would have the director of finance, who is Robert Hunt, and any of the trustees that are available. Because he's a senator, he has a whole bunch of, his schedule is tight. So it would probably be the trustees going around having like these little workshops in every municipality about the budget, and hearing input about the budget from every little municipality. But that's what they signed up for. Do you think the two Daltonites are compromised now, since sitting on the other side of the table with the knowledge and power? They're reading what Tiffany write on the table in front of them. Did. Wash, rinse, repeat. I was hoping things would be different. So, Shani, let me go back to your question. Do I think the two Daltonites are compromised now, since sitting on the other side of the table with the knowledge and the power? Absolutely. And we'll talk about that more at the end of this broadcast, because we're going to talk about the comments that were made by a few people from the board that I didn't understand. But we're going to talk about it in juxtaposition to that, right? Absolutely. I think that they are compromised, right? Because you forgot about everything you was fighting, crying, shouting, yelling, protesting about at the podium when Lil Stank was sitting up there. Because you was constantly asking Lil Stank, let us know how much money we have. Let us know this. Let us know that. Why you ain't telling nobody? Why y'all not discussing anything? Yeah, it's the same. It's the same pair of shoes, but different feet. Yeah. We're going to talk about it, though. We're going to talk about possibly why. I told people to vote for Nate Fields. Napoleon's greedy and sneaky. As far as Nate Fields is concerned, I know I'm not sure that he was the right choice. I'm not sure. It's much. This is typical of Illinois, right? You got the lesser. You got all of these choices, but in some of the races, you really didn't have anybody that you should choose. And at that point, I'm not choosing, because nobody really is worthy. If I'm looking at the list that I'm looking at, and I'm not saying that Nate is not worthy. I'm just saying that I don't feel like he was knowledgeable enough with these budgets. Do you see how much money we talking about here? Right? I didn't feel like, what he wanted to do was go buy some old Frank budgets. No, we can't do that, because Frank's not here anymore. And, we're in 2025. We need somebody that know about budgets right now. And we got issues that's happening right now. It's not the same issues when Frank was in office. So we can't necessarily use his blueprint for a budget. Right? We didn't give him a chance to produce it. I mean, you could have given him a chance. I mean, they could have gave him a chance. But I'm not sure if I think the situation would be same in a different way, because it's hard when you don't have someone that's, knowledgeable where they need to be, especially in that finance area. That's a heavy area. Nate would have gotten dog walk. Listen, Master G, he would have been pulled here, there, and everywhere. Okay, and was Master G, and was. I think that was that would have been a totally horrible situation. Totally horrible situation, because the people that he was getting advice from, no. Right? Do I want him? I wanted him to be a trustee. I think that he could have made a bigger impact as a trustee, because he would have been sitting in that trustee seat and he would have been saying, nope, and this the reason why. And I asked so-and-so. I think he would have served the community, and then he wouldn't have had nothing to worry about at the end of this term, of Napoleon's term, because they would have definitely voted him supervisor at that point. Watching him show up to these meetings and be a trustee and be able to say no. And be able to say, no, I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense. And I vote no. Y'all vote whatever you want, but I vote no. Nate should have run for trustee. I'm just saying, he would have been that one to say nope. Nate was groomed under Frank, though, so I'm sure he knew all a little bit, but look how successful he was being his own lawyer. Yeah, he was successful being his own lawyer. For me, out here in Illinois, it's a lot easier to be your own lawyer. I was my own lawyer during my divorce, and I got everything I asked for, and I could have got more, right? But I was successful doing that. Do I think I should be a politician, a senator? Maybe not, but maybe so. But I don't know. Just because of that one experience, I don't know, right? Master G, that disappoints me. Listen, super producer, the choices we had, Nate was the number one choice. Coffee God, I don't dispute your choice. He was your choice for whatever reasons you had. You felt he was the best choice, and I agree with that for you. I agree with that. I'm privy to a lot of behind the scenes things, so I can't really give you, I can't really go up against you with that. I can just tell you what I know, that he would have been better served being the trustee and being the one now on that board, being able to say, no, I don't agree with that. Or can we have discussion? I want to discuss something, or at least I want to let the public know what I tried to discuss. And then I'm going to get my vote. And then he go on to vote no. You know what I'm saying? Master G. But if a chance is what he wanted, I feel like he would have took the trustee position, because that is the chance, because that would have been a chance to learn, and then he could sat here and watch all of this stuff play out. He could be on the right side. Boom, he would have had no issue, right? Let's play devil's advocate, right? Let's play devil's advocate. What if he had took, hey Javar, what if he had took the trustee position, right? And let's just say, allegedly, Napoleon got indicted for this campaign fund stuff, and then he got convicted. That would cause the seat to become vacant. And if Nate had been a trustee sitting there saying no to all this stuff, boom, it would have been him. It would have been him, because they would have been doing them rounds and rounds and rounds of things, and then they would have had to go to a caucus or that town hall thing like they did Stephanie, and bam, there you go. I understand what you're saying. Start off as a trustee, first saying, hold on, the comments going fast. Hold on. What choices we had with the candidates could nobody anything about. I agree, Coffee Guy. I mean, what's done is done. He felt he was too good to be trustee. That would have been the move to get in the seat. Yeah. Nate should have been on the board. Yeah. I was impressed with how he handled his own lawyer. Maybe he should go to law school. I was very impressed by the way he handled himself with all of the opposition that he did face. Like I said, he would have served the community better being a trustee first. He would have, look at where we at now. He would have been the one sitting in that seat up on that dais saying, no, I'm voting no. My vote is no. And so, you know, and yeah, he would have Master G easily, even being on a ticket as an independent, he easily would have slid into that seat and been making a difference right now. Right? He would have had influence over the budget. They would have been able to say, Nate, this don't make any sense. Nate would have been able to go in there and say, oh, you know, this don't make sense, that don't make sense. You know, I said this, I said that, the residents told me, blah, blah, blah. At least we would have heard some discussion. Right? At least we would have heard some discussion. Yeah, Gerard, he couldn't do it as a Democrat because they already had a slate. He definitely could have won the trustee seat. I'm not disputing your claims. He wasn't ready for the role, but the choices of candidates were like, I'll stick with Nate. Coffee guy, you did the right thing. I don't think you didn't not do the right thing. I just, you know, with the people that Napoleon had pushing his campaign and the people that he had on his slate, which were very respected people in the community, he didn't really have a chance, especially with him running by himself. Right? He didn't have a slate of people. Maybe he would have fared better if he had a slate of people, at least you know, 2 or 3 trustees. You know, maybe. He definitely would have won the let me see what will happen if the trustee don't pass anything they vote on. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen, but whatever it was they voted on won't be, you know, won't be done. Somebody else will have to come up with something else because that won't be it. Right? And no harm, no foul. If they get in there and they vote no to bingo, then it won't be no bingo. I mean, ain't nobody gonna die because it ain't gonna be no bingo. I mean, for me, I'm going in there voting no until everything until we get this forensic audit, but we're gonna talk about that in a minute.
Is Angela Russell?
I'm gonna skip past the mental health lady. And I'm gonna go to the rabbi.
Because he cannot be paid an outrageous salary paid by taxpayers. However, I learned that your fellow Democrat
and coffee guy, let me tell you something about me. I never want to be right? I never want to be right, but I do want to make sense, right? I don't think that you were wrong in the choices that you had. You made the right decision for you. You made the right decision for you because that decision made sense for you, right? But when you look at the overall picture, how much of a chance did he really have? Napoleon was a very huge mountain to climb. With all of the people that he had on his side, he had the seniors, he had, you know, trusted leaders in the community. Like I said, he had a whole slate of people. People were looking at that. Yeah, you know, sometimes we have to put our egos to the side, and that's another issue for me, right? Because loads of people gave Nate that advice that he should be a trustee. Right? And if he had just humbled himself and did it, he would be serving the community right now. Hey, sure. Tell Mr. Dan we can't have him every dang time. Child, that really had less to do with Mr. Dan and more so to do with 1, them mics, and 2, all of them blowers. Because if you hear that humming sound in everybody's video, it's all them blowers that's all around the room on the floor. So you can't hear on purpose. Yeah, but okay, I'll tell him.
Was able to pass legislation that benefited you For transparency, are you willing today, Mr. Harris, to reveal the name of that Democrat that sponsored that bill for you to have benefit? Also, we learned that you benefit from personal favors that violates and creates mistrust among your constituents. Your constituents deserve to hear from you, Mr. Harris, not the attorney, not your administration, but what you are going to do differently. That abuse of power would not be happening in the city. Also, why is the trustees who were very vocal when Tiffany Henry was abusing her power are silent right now on this issue? We demand accountability and we demand answers.
Thank you. Vivian Allen?
Okay, you heard the rabbi say, you know, are you going to give us the name of the politician that put the bill in for you? No, he is not. And a short answer, no, he not. Then, you know, he asked the question, why were certain people silent that were so vocal when Lil Stank was in office? Now, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's say, let's look at this. Do the people that were speaking up previously that are on the board now, do they feel an obligation to the super senator at this point because they didn't have to do a lot of work to win? They didn't have to raise a lot of money. He did do a lot of the heavy lifting when it came to raising funds and paying for things. Do we think that might have some bearing on why they're not as vocal against him as they were against Lil Stank? Because they had their own, you know, they have their own reasoning. Maybe it was because they didn't have to do a lot of heavy lifting during the campaigning. I mean, it's a thought, right? We gotta start looking at why people aren't as vocal and as forthcoming as they were finding out information and getting papers and exposing things and, oh, why you do this? Why you ain't do that? I don't know. Like, for me, that's a question. Nate, problem is that the voter wanted to, yeah, and that's true. Mary Yvonne BP Stubbs were very vocal against Tiffany. Now we don't hear them at all. But I'm asking the question. Could it be that they feel some sense of obligation to the super senator? Are these the favors that I was talking about way back when I did the piece on Delgado? And if you haven't seen those videos on my channel, they are the very first videos that I ever did on this channel. Nobody even watched them. But if you go and watch them, it tells you a lot about how people move out here and how they are moving. It says in that video that favors are the things that move out here. It's not money, it's favors. So maybe they gave their reputation and their trust that the community had in them to him so that they could get voted in, and you know, maybe that's what happened. What do we think about that? Rabbi was great questions. Napo telling the trustees his assistant is unraveling the past financials and him not spending much has got them quiet. Child, I was always on the fence about that slate. I'm just asking, if you have not seen the videos that I first made on this channel, and they were about Delgado, there's 4 parts to them. In them, they show you how people trade favors in politics. This is what we're talking about. So Napoleon traded a favor with the senator that passed his bill. And who knows what Napoleon had to do in return. Hold on. My business partner is texting me. Okay. And so he's going to have to do something for that senator. We don't know what that will be yet, but it was a favor for a favor. Hey, can you do me this favor? And then I'll do you a favor. Because that's how politics works. Yeah, some folks were saying they all need to go. Napo don't care about events and services. He just does the basic meeting protocols and collects a huge paycheck. He does it for optics, at least for the photo ops, because we're going to get ready to go back into election season. He's collecting signatures right now, I believe, for commitment, right? So yeah, I mean, he don't need to be worried about the residents, and he really is not. Because if he was, anyway, we'll get into it. All right. I'm going to go past Vivian's comment because we know what her comment was about. I'm just going to touch on Alicia Nicole's comment. Alicia Nicole's comment, the first part of the comment was about Robert Hunt, which I think was a good comment about him being standoffish. Him being standoffish in the room, when he's in the room and they ask him questions and things. And so that was a good question, but Robert Hunt is still there doing his job. He is still the finance director. Let's listen to Ryan's comment.
Good evening, everybody. The last township meeting I attended, I was appalled but not surprised by the conduct of the board, this board. Residents complained, but all this board did were excuses. We were essentially told that we didn't know what we were talking about and that we should just stay quiet and trust that the board is spending our tax money wisely without seeing where the money is actually going for ourselves. And if any of you have children or nephews or nieces, you know how that goes, right? When the kids, you say, have you brushed your teeth? Oh, yes, just trust that I did, mom or dad, right? You have to verify. So the same goes for, finances as well. So has anything changed since then? Where is the forensic audit of township finances that so many of you demanded under the prior administration? Why is Supervisor Napoleon Harris making more than $200,000 a year just for being supervisor, not including his Senate salary? Why aren't agenda packets posted online before every meeting so residents can read about what is being voted on? Let me suggest a few things you should vote on tonight before you adjourn this evening. 1, a resolution calling for an immediate hiring freeze and spending freeze on all non-essential services until a forensic audit going back at least 10 years is complete. 2, a resolution requiring board packets and all updated financial documents to be posted online at least 3 business days before every meeting. 3, a resolution requiring the board to use one of many financial software programs that can post public expenses and revenue in real time online to monitor where tax money is going. So there's no guessing about where your money is. 4, a resolution to bring the supervisor's salary back down to below $60,000. 5, a resolution to once again ban public money from being used to put officials' names and images on literature, aka illegal electioneering. Vote on those tonight. Or if you prefer, call a special meeting later this week to vote on them. Even if you vote no, at least we can see whether you want to be real with us or you're still trying to hide the money. Right now, all we hear are excuses, and all we see is that our tax money is going to some high salaries and a lot of expensive events. Meanwhile, residents are working 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to pay their property taxes and not be kicked out of their homes. That must end now. I look forward to seeing your response.
Okay, so let's talk about Ryan's comment. Okay, I agree with a lot of the things that he said. I agree that there needs to be a hiring freeze until they get these salaries sorted out, until people are being paid, as far as the employees, appropriate salaries, right? I do agree with that. Let's talk about the audit. Well, you know what? I'm going to wait on the audit because the lawyer makes a comment about the audit, or who made? I think Napoleon made a comment about the audit, and so I'll wait. I'll hold my comment about the audit until then. You know, I have loads of problems with them voting on things and not at least discussing, right? Because even if you're going to vote yes, we want to hear the discussion about why you're voting yes. It's just something that we need now, right? Because like Miss Wendy said, we are now watching the store and the cash register, right? So it's just something that we need because we are having a traumatic response with all of the things that going on with the supervisor's salary, with the supervisor's campaign funds. Man, I am having so many flashbacks, of Lil Stank, that it's a trauma response, and we need to know. Not only the salaries, but don't you have to live in the township? Yes. And that's what, that was another thing that I was saying on my live, that I do have the employee file of 2 people who do not live in the township, but they are still employed there. It's an ordinance on the books that you have to live in the township in order to work there. There are no details. A discussion would help with that. Yes. And so even if you vote yes, right, Ryan McGowan, even if you vote yes, we want to just hear what the discussion was. Did you have a discrepancy and somebody gave you some information because you had it wrong? Let us know that. What was your question, and what did they get right or wrong? What did they show you, that made you change your mind? Are y'all even paying attention to these packets that you're being sent? Or are you just voting? Let me know that. If you don't have time to look at the packet and you say, well, I ain't had time to look at the packet, then say that. But we just need to hear that a little bit of the discussion that's obviously happening behind the scenes. It is obviously happening behind the scenes. We're not a part of it, though. And we want to begin to be a part of the conversation since we put you in the seat. I feel like that's what, people are saying. Just give us some of the discussion that y'all be having. Let us know, right? So, that for me, that's the biggest issue for me, is the no discussion. I don't know, what's happening, but anyway. Ryan had a good comment.
Thank you. Mayor Shakur.
Mayor Shakur. Good evening. So, one of the starters, I want to be very specific and to the point. The last week of June, outside of the township, a young lady who's sitting here this evening was harassed by a mentally deranged individual, young man who has been harassing, bullying individuals. This person, Vivian Allen, sits right here to the left of me, was harassed. She was mob actioned by this gentleman, Jedediah Brown, and his team, who waited for her, verbally attacked her. She had to call the police. The same individual last fall had a fight right here in the township. No one should be harassed, threatened when they're trying to politically express their voice of opinion. No one should be bullied or even cyberbullied when they're trying to just dialogue and come into meetings. This is unacceptable. I'm asking that we ban this person from this particular venue from this point going forward. He's not a community player. Animalistic instincts don't work for community. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, Senator Harris, is on July 14th, I was the victim of a mob action by the same individual, 5 people who were being and probably still are being employed by Christopher Clark, the mayor of Harvey. This was during an illegal eviction campaign in the city of Harvey, towards they were throwing folks out of their homes illegally. That is not what Harvey police should be doing. We need an investigation by the state of Illinois, Kwame Rose office, into the goings on of Harvey, Illinois, the police, including this gentleman right here, I need your assistance to keep this going. Again, these are illegal actions. We need to stop, and I would say we need to put an ordinance together right away to keep this ban and ban them from any future meetings. It's permanent that we do. I appreciate it. I would like to meet with you about it.
Okay, now, again, you're going to get another unpopular opinion from me. Everything was going okay until he mentioned the mob action that happened in Harvey, because that incident did not happen at the township, right? While it happened in the township, it happened in Harvey, which is a mayor of Harvey problem and a Harvey Police Department problem, right? Which is not something that the supervisor would have any control over. But when he gave his comments about Vivian being attacked outside at the township, right? That's relevant to the township. That's relevant to the town. And it happened right outside the doors. The security had to step in. Matter of fact, the police was called. The South Highland police was called. So that's an issue. The melee fight that happened, it happened in the township by that person. See, when they go to court, these are the things that they need to keep. They need to keep the main thing, the main thing. These are the things that they need to be compiling, right? You can't talk about anything outside of what you're trying to prove, right? You're trying to prove that this person is cyberbullying you or cyber stalking you. Then you have to show every instance and occurrence that they are mentioning you and talking about you without you saying anything to them. You that's what you need to show, that it is constant and consistent, the behavior that is happening, right? And according to the law, the cyber stalking statute, these are the reasons he has fulfilled those according to this statute, because this has been constant and consistent on this day, on this day, on this day, on this day. Not mentioning anyone else, not mentioning anything else, not nothing. This is what he consistently and constantly did to me. So, you know, let me read these comments. Hold on. My brain that. Yeah, I mean, unpopular opinion, but you know, the two comments that he made previously, those were relevant because Vivian was attacked. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. All right. let's see. Yeah, so that's what you have to. That's what you need to do. You need to keep the main thing the main thing. You need to keep your emotions out of it. You need to state the statute. You need to hold on. Yeah, I am so sorry. My business partner is texting me. And I'm about to get off of here too, because I don't want nobody complaining about my video. People be talking about videos be 3-4 hours long. I don't want anybody complaining about my video. Right now we at 1 hour and 35 minutes. Okay, let's see. Just want to know if Squidward replaced the TV he attacked. I think so. When I went there, it was a new one. Vivian was not attacked. She provoked it. Why are we keep giving her a pass when she bullied Tiffany Henry for years? Okay, Coffee Guy. First of all, I'm going to say this. Why are we talking about a woman and a man in a conflict and you telling me that the woman was the one that provoked it? I'm confused. Because as the man, you should be able to de-escalate yourself. That's what I'm going to say. You should be able to de-escalate yourself. I'm going to also say this, Coffee Guy. I was there that day as well. And when I came up, Jedediah attacked me. He started putting his camera in my face, calling me names and everything. I didn't even say anything to him. I just walked up. I actually walked up and hugged his bodyguard. I didn't even say anything to him. He started putting his phone in my face and calling me names. So I'm not sure if you're seeing or saw what I saw. But at any rate, you should not be going at a woman. Me personally, I got a problem with that. And if she was talking mess on her live, that's her live. Why are you watching her live? These are the things that I don't even be understanding. Because she was talking shit on her live. That's her live. She do whatever she want to do. See, we all adults out here. We are all adults out here who got a right to speak when we want to speak and say what we want to say. Don't anybody have the right to muffle you, stifle you, or stop you from talking. That's her platform. She can do whatever she want on it. Whatever she want. That go the same for me. That go the same for you. Just because you be on your live talking about me, that don't give me the right to pull up at your car and start yelling and hollering at you. That don't give me that right. Why? Because it's freedom of speech. Y'all need to stop hollering about this freedom of speech if you are going to be selective about who get it. Because that's what we're not going to do. We're not going to be selective about who get freedom of speech. And that man can sit over there and on his platform and talk shit about people every day, and y'all okay with that. But when other people do it, then y'all have a problem and saying that they attacking him. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Everybody should just be able to do it. Shouldn't be a difference. That's your platform. People got the right to tune out or not subscribe or don't, listen. Okay, thank you, Coffee Guy. Let's be fair. But at the same time, that does not take away the fact that they have the right to do it. Because it's a little thing called freedom of speech. They got the right to do it. Do you like it? No. But they got the right to do it. You got the right not to listen. You got the right not to feed into it. I'm just saying. Y'all stop going to these people platforms that don't like the people that you like. or stop going to these platforms of people you don't like. Stop tuning into them, because they got the right to say whatever they want to say on their platform. I'm standing on business. People even been talking about me. I mean, people be talking about me. They be talking about me subliminally. They be talking about me with my name. They be talking about me with other names. But when I see them little people in public, they don't say shit. Nothing. That's why I don't watch them. Because, see, I'm about that real life. Catch me outside. Okay, I'm not about this type of stuff. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, now you got me pointing my finger because I'm pissed. Because if everybody only watch the people you like and leave everybody else alone, we wouldn't have none of this drama, because you wouldn't know what the other person's saying because you don't like them. Listen, that's one thing that little Stank had right. You know what she used to say? I don't know why y'all watch people you don't like. I don't know why y'all over here on my page watching my live. You don't like me. Now, she had that right. Okay? Thank you, sure. That's funny. I'm just saying. I don't like that. She was on her live talk. So he get on his live talk and mess too. Everybody do it. Everybody do it because everybody got the right to freedom of speech. They can say what they want. I got the right not to listen or tune in. That's what it is. We all adults out here. We should be able to understand that. We should be able to comprehend that. We should be able to comprehend that and leave it alone and let it go. And let me say this. Let me say this. Because I'm so tired of this drama and all this nonsense. I'm sick of it. Okay? So let me say this. Just because somebody lied don't mean they broke any law. Is it against the law to lie? Because if it was against the law to lie, half of these politicians would be locked up. We wouldn't have to worry about them because they'll be locked up. So if she lied, so what? So what? When your uncle do it, you don't say nothing. When your auntie do it, you don't say nothing. When your cousin, sister, brother, when your wife or your spouse do it, you don't say nothing. Let these people lie in peace or whatever they doing. I'm not saying she did. I'm just saying. Ask yourself, is it worth all that energy that you're giving it? Because is it against the law to lie when you're not in a court of law? Is it against the law? No. People be out here lying on the street every day. Y'all got to start thinking about what y'all doing, what y'all be wasting y'all energy on. Okay? All of it is wrong, but let's not give her a pass. She's playing victim. I'm not giving anybody a pass. They all are keeping up the nonsense in some way, shape, or form. They all are doing it. All of them. Every last one of them. I'm not giving nobody a pass. They all are keeping it up, and they doing whatever they doing, because that's what adults do. I cannot tell another adult how to handle something that is affecting them. I cannot do that. I cannot do that, and I don't want to do it. You got to do what you think is best for you, and we need to learn to leave stuff there. She doing what she thinks she need to do. Roger that. Mind your business. SP, I trained both of my sisters how to shoot. If you notice when he was in Texas, you didn't hear a peep. We handle things differently in Texas. I know that's right. I enjoy the info of my community and learning skills. I ignore the rest. Okay, eat the chicken and leave the bones. Let me say that into the mic. Eat the chicken and leave the bones. Okay? That's what you do. If you ask me, they all locked into a battle and everybody want to win. Everybody wants to put a notch in their belt. Everybody wants to say that they won. But at the end, is who's winning really? Who's winning? Who is winning is what I want to know. If you ask me, none of them. Not even if they get a victory in court, are they winning? Because we out here looking crazy, fighting each other. Felon 47 out here erasing history, taking away benefits, taking away rights, and we up here fighting each other. Lord have mercy. Baby dicks, exactly. But I'm talking about in general, just out here shooting the shit in everyday life on the street. Because people do that. People lie every day. Let's keep the main thing now. We ain't talking about nobody committing a crime trying to scam somebody or defraud someone. We're not talking about that. We're talking about every day on the street doing what they're doing. Y'all play so much, I don't even be having time for all the games y'all be playing. My God. Hey, H-Bag, how you doing? And like I said, if you ask me, everybody is keeping up the bullshit. But I cannot tell anyone how to handle their business. That's their business. They're doing what they think is right for them. They're doing what they feel they need to do. Okay, and if that's the case, okay, more power to you. And I'm going to say it again. Felon 47 out here doing everything he can do to erase history, take away our benefits, take away our rights, and we out here fighting each other. Absolutely ludicrous. Ludicrous. If I say it one more time, is ludicrous gonna come in my live? I hope you do. What? All right, let's go to the next comment.
Thank you.
I think this is the last one. Now you see this? This was a back and forth. What happened during that time right there? There was a back and forth between Amir and Jed. There was a back and forth. Now, Jed sitting in the back. Amir got his back to him, right? I don't see where comments had to be made on either way, from either side. We know y'all don't like each other. Just don't acknowledge each other. Act like you invisible. Okay? Act like you invisible. That's all you gotta do. Lord have mercy. Two activists. Two community activists at each other's throats. Yeah, I think it was Wyoming gal because I think it's 1,000 feet order. And I think he did it after the meeting because I think he said Jed was in the parking lot still and hadn't left. And so it was sort of like he couldn't leave because he was still out there or whatever. And, you know, now we're in the open space out in this, you know, in the public. So, you know, whatever.
This is what I'm talking about. Did you write
Name Bowman. Thank you. Everybody's taking care of it.
Good evening. I'm a white citizen, Thornton.
Come on. Can we all show the speakers some respect, please? Thank you.
First of all, let's say thank you for the chance to speak. Supervisor Harris and all these committees. I want to thank you for my son. Leaving a funeral, I had the opportunity to stop by the event that was going on. It was a nice event that the township had put on. And everybody was out there having a good time. And that we realized one thing, that when we stand together, we can get a lot accomplished. A house divided will never stand. And it's only when that we can work together, whether we agree or disagree, with leadership, that we could move this township forward in the right direction without a lot of things that's going on and being said. All of this stuff should not be in these types of meetings, cyberbullying and whatever it is else. But I want to thank you for this opportunity, number one. And I want to tell you all doing a wonderful job. And myself as a citizen want to do everything that I can do to make your lives much easier. And we should all do the same thing. We elected these officials for a reason, and we have to allow them time and opportunity to do what they were voted in to do. 6 months ain't gonna take care of what 4 years done.
Amen.
So we just have to let due process through. Give them an opportunity to change.
That includes public speaking.
Now, the thing that really set me off about the pastor, right? Because here is the thing about these super fans. They get up here and they make these speeches and they say, oh, let's try to work with the elected officials, while ignoring all of the problems. So you didn't want to get up there and make a comment about the salary change. You didn't want to get up there and make a comment about the campaign funds. You didn't want to get up there and make a comment about the non-transparency of the budget. You didn't want to get up there and make a comment about the employees at the township. You just wanted to get up there and tell us that we should just work with the elected officials. Well, we're trying to work with them by asking them questions, Pastor. If you just, stay with me for just one moment, Pastor, right? Because in your prayer, you said in your prayer that you wanted there to be peace and there to be no hostility, right? But even in that, the Bible says that we are walking, that in liberty we are made free, right? So you should be telling the truth about what is actually happening, instead of asking us to ignore what is going on right in front of our face. Can I get an amen? I mean, do you understand what I mean? I just need you to walk with me for a moment, right? That's like asking God to bless me in my life, but I'm doing everything but his will. I mean, you're not hearing me. Y'all not hearing me out there tonight. I mean, the last time we gave somebody 6 months, 7 months, a year, I mean, money was being spent like it was water, like we had turned the faucet on and it was just going and going and going. I'm not sure that is what Jesus got on the cross, hung, bled, and died for. I mean, are you walking with me? I don't know. I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing you tonight. See, I don't care about none of that. We need to talk about these issues. We need to stop getting up there and supporting somebody who's full of mess. We need to start calling each other on our mess. If you have an ear, if you have an ear with that person, then we need to stop doing it. There were only a few watching the concert at the event. In my opinion, they need a group that sings the oldies like 60s and 70s. They love live streaming an event about a month ago that's so cool. Why is SB talking like a preacher right now? Because that's what he did. What hurts is the trustees sit there as if they are blind, crippled, and crazy. Okay, baby dicks, I'm just telling you, I asked the question, do they feel obligated to go along with the program because he did a lot of the heavy lifting when it came to finances for the campaign? That's a question. That is the question. Is why. Why are they doing that? Sure, I was talking like that because that's what he did. And it didn't make any difference to me because I was not even listening to him. Because you're going to get up there and tell us to work with them, but you're not going to get up there and talk about the issues and the problems. Right? Because the first thing in the Bible that you do when you come to Christ is that you repent of your sins. Hello, somebody. Hello. That's the first thing that you do in order to be accepted into the kingdom. Huh? This man's walking around here saying that he's a man of God and, you know, he believes in God. Well, do you? Well, do you or don't you? Because I feel like Morgan Freeman and Lean On Me. Well, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you? The first thing you do is repent of your sins. So we should be talking about the issues so that we can then begin to work together. Right? But I ain't going to sit up here and let you tell me that orange is blue. I ain't going to do it. Trustees used to take a mile a minute with the residents. Are they scared and cautious to say anything? We all hear Stubbs and her fish on Friday's speech and Mary's take a bullet speech. Where's that energy? In them campaign funds? Allegedly. I don't know. I didn't ask y'all the question. I don't none of the trustees. You missed the word. Was it called? You don't like none of the trustees, Coffee God? I'm just asking. We gotta stop doing this. We gotta stop blindly supporting people. We gotta stop. We gotta stop. We have to stop. We have to stop blindly supporting people. We do. So you mean to tell me that pastor, see, that tells me a lot. When the pastor get up there and don't speak on the campaign funds, don't speak on the salary, what you doing? What you doing? Huh? Because right is right and wrong is wrong. Lord, let me get off that because y'all don't want to hear that. Stubbs and Mary used to be very vocal in the audience. I think they're all constipated now. They're not in the audience anymore. I think at one point I asked y'all, was it something with those seats up there? What changes people when they get in? Okay? What changes them? Okay? Why I'm telling you. Sorry, I mean, I don't. Trustees, especially Chris Gonzalez, never had. His hand is always in the cookie jar. I like Chris Gonzalez, so I don't have anything to say about him. I like him. I don't know what's happening right now because I haven't spoken to him. So I don't know what's going on right now. But for me, I like him. I don't have no problems with him. A lot of people did. Carryover. They had carryover for Chris Gonzalez, and I don't know why. Because if you listened to the nomination day, Napoleon's name was thrown out during the nomination day too. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to talk about that. Okay. His pockets are being lined, and something is happening. Hey, K-Mac. Now super producer Chris was sneaky still is. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't talked to him. I don't have no problem with Chris. I like Chris. I don't have no beef with him. I don't have no beef with him.
Moving on to item 6, the approval of minutes from the prior.
Anybody know what's up with Stephanie now? She came in all not to save the day now, peeps. Everyone really cared about her. No, nobody's really, well, I haven't heard from her. I sent her a message and she didn't respond. So I haven't heard from her. I did hear that she's over at INA as their secretary, I think. And I don't know anything about that because I'm not over there.
Meetings. So at this time, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the 2025-26 tentative budget hearing.
So they approved the minutes with no changes.
Next up, item 7, the approval of bills. This time, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the bills list for the general fund. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the
approve that general fund. Second.
Motion to approve the bills list for the general fund by trustee Stubbs, seconded by trustee Gonzalez.
Now, here's the problem with this. We weren't given any numbers. So the bills were approved for the general fund, and we don't know how much the bills were for the general fund. And nobody said anything. If they had a packet, and they know the numbers, why didn't anybody share it? Why didn't anybody say the general fund bills were this amount? And so we all got that in our packet, and this is what the general fund bills were. Because at least you could, because then the public can be able to keep track of what the bills are every month that they go to a meeting, right? Because they read out the total. That was not even done this time. Hold on. Yeah, so that wasn't even done. And that bothered me. I don't know if it bothered anybody else, but it bothered me.
Gonzalez, clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Stubbs? Aye. Trustee Gonzalez? Yes. Trustee Stanley?
Yes.
Trustee Avant? Yes. Supervisor Harris?
Aye. With 5 members voting in the affirmative, the motion carries. This time, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the bills list.
Right here, Ms. Stubbs could have entertained the motion. They got the motion. Then when they got the motion, she could have said, can we get some discussion? I just want to let the public know that the general assistance fund bills was XYZ, 1 million, whatever, whatever it was.
Motion by trustee Stubbs to approve the bills list of the general assistance fund, seconded by trustee Stanley. Clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Avant? Trustee Gonzalez? Yes. Trustee Stanley?
Yes.
Sure, the membership fees, that's something that they have to pay for the township. It's the training of the trustees about how the township runs. It's like a conference they go to. So it's a training that they all are supposed to have, certificates that they all are supposed to have.
Trustee Stubbs? Aye. Supervisor Harris?
Aye. With 5 members voting in the affirmative, the motion carries. At this time, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the bills list for the road and bridge fund. Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion by trustee Avant, seconded by trustee Gonzalez for the motion to approve the bills list for the road and bridge fund. Clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Stanley?
Yes.
Trustee Stubbs? Aye. Trustee Avant? Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Harris?
Yes.
And again, road and bridge fund red, and no numbers are given for that. And I told y'all that man ain't even cut the grass over there at the highway building. Hey, money boy Trey, how you doing? And why I'm a girl, I don't know that I can get anybody a pass, really, especially not if you was vocal in saying what somebody was supposed to do for the last 3 years. I'm not so sure about that one, but you got it. You don't think Chris is dirty, but you just don't think he doesn't do his research. Maybe he's not reading the packets. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't talked to him.
With 5 members voting in the affirmative, the motion carries. Item 8, new business. First item up is the approval of membership dues for township officials.
Well, they're not going to have any discussion on anything, so.
Trustee Stanley?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
I don't care about that.
Aye. Supervisor Harris?
Aye. 5 members voting in the affirmative, the motion carries. Next is the motion for the training for
the assessor's office training.
So next, I'm going to have the clerk.
And we didn't get any type of numbers about how much the membership fees were or how much the training was for the assessors. They did give out numbers for the bingo, and it was lower, so it was like $3,500. That was good, but these other things we didn't get numbers on.
Make some comments.
Yeah, wow, my God, that's what I want to know. I feel like there's discussions going on in group chats, but there's not discussions going on at these meetings. And that's what we need to hear. We need to hear discussions about, what the total prices are, whatever, what they talked about, what they had a question about that was answered. Well, I was a little confused on XYZ, but then I was told this. And so that's why I'm able to vote today, and I'm ready to vote. Yeah, that's simple. That's simple. And I think it's the simple things that are being overlooked that you could do to make the residents and the public feel more comfortable. Did anyone ask about the engineer, credit card, golf, and nobody asked about Antoine's credit stuff yet?
Greetings, everyone.
Great.
Okay, let's try again. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. So I just wanted to first thank you all for coming out. Yes, I am on Facebook, so I do read. I was on it before I became a clerk, so addicted to it. So. However, I see the comments. I see, I'm not gonna comment. I'm not.
First of all, let me say something. Loretta Wells would have never. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing, this clerk bothers me. She's rather nasty with her responses. Oh, I am on social media. Girl, we do not care. We do not care that you are seeing what we are typing. Therefore, that is the reason we are typing it, because we do not care. Because we are fed up. That's why. Because we don't care. Because we're fed up. Okay? We are fed up. We don't care that you're seeing it. See, because what she's doing is she's looking on social media, seeing who's commenting, and then when you come up for public comment, then she have a nice nasty response to you, or she have a look for you. Ma'am, I'm not scared of your look. I ain't scared of your nice nasty comments. I said what I said. Because you got 1,000 jobs. You have 1,000 jobs. You should have never agreed to take this one. This is why I don't like this double, triple, skipple dipping. Because all of these excuses, I don't care about it. We don't care. But I can say the agenda for this meeting was on the website when I went to go look for it. It was there. Praise God for that. And kudos to you, clerk, for having it there. I'm going to give you that. But you can keep your little nice, nasty attitude. Your little Janet Jackson, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, attitude. Sick of it. Crazy. Crazy that we even getting a speech from you. We never got speeches from Loretta Wells. Never have I ever. And was this on the agenda? I didn't see a comment from the clerk on the agenda. I didn't see that. I didn't see comment from the lawyer on the agenda, and it should have been if they was gonna make a comment. Definitely am. Why I'm a gal? Yes. Yes, I am.
I try to take it in and try to make changes here. But I want to address points. So when we first got into office, we had a lot of points left over. So we immediately started digging in to clean those, close those out from the previous administration.
First of all, child, let me tell you, I don't believe her that they had FOIAs left over from hold on, y'all. I gotta get it back in the right spot. From the prior, my mouse is acting today. I need to restart my computer. Anyway, I don't believe her that they had FOIAs left over from when Loretta was there. I don't believe that at all, because Clerk Wells, she was very thorough with her job, and I believe that she cleared out everything that she needed to clear out, and let them start from fresh, because I just believe professionally that's her. So I do not believe that. I do not believe that at all. She said she ain't playing no games with y'all, so let her tell y'all how we gonna do this. She telling y'all how she gonna do it. That ain't gonna stop the comments on Facebook. And every time I get a chance to make a comment when I see a post on Facebook, I am.
We had a lot of points left over. So we immediately started digging in to clean those, close those out from the previous administration. I am the FOIA officer, meaning that I close out the FOIA.
She should not be the FOIA officer because she's an elected official. It should be someone in that office, but an employee. It should be someone in that office, but an employee, because it's a conflict when somebody who is elected has to answer a FOIA. What if the FOIA is about them, right? What if the FOIA is asking for their file? SP Loretta stated, Stank took her FOIA powers away towards the end. I'm gonna tell you right now, I FOIA'd a few things from Loretta, and she gave them to me at the end. She gave them to me. I had no idea how valuable Clerk Wells was until this new one came in. Okay, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
The FOIAs are submitted through a system or via email, and then the staff, they work to compile the information so that we can gather everything. And right now, we're still using the attorneys to review everything, because we really haven't had a chance to sit down and go through a training so that we can redact and handle everything on our own. So we probably get about 3 FOIAs a week. That's a lot. And we're still trying to play catch up.
3 FOIAs a week? You telling me you get 3 FOIAs a week and that's a lot? Ma'am, try the city of Chicago, where that clerk is probably getting 100 to 200 FOIAs a week. Try some of these other municipalities that got issues like Salt Village, Tinley Park, Fort Heights at one point. I can guarantee you they are getting more than 3 FOIAs a week. And you talking about 3 FOIAs a week, where these people have, let me get it right now, 8 hours a day to look for this information. You got 5 days to do it. So you got 5 days at 8 hours a day to look for this FOIA information. Okay. Y'all get that math together. Y'all get that math together, okay? SP, my bad. It was Miss Keys and the Dalton about the FOIAs. Yeah, it was. Y'all make that math. You got an office with other people in the clerk office, right? They got 8 hours and they have 5 days to look for each FOIA information. 5. And then guess what? If they get down to the 5th day, on the 5th day, they can just send a little email and say, we need a 5-day extension, and they get 5 more days. Make it make sense. Because that math don't be mathing. 3 FOIAs, you got 5 days, 8 hours a day, and we can't get no information. How did that make sense? How did that make sense? Somebody call Bill Nye the science guy, because this right here, this is like making an atom bomb. Make it make sense. Okay? I'm not understanding.
So once the information is compiled, we forward it to the attorney for review, and then they send it back. And if everything is together, everything is organized, correct, then I will close it out. Yes, we are behind, and we're trying to work to catch up on it. We're not ignoring you. I don't like being behind. I don't like having things like that against my name, but that's just the truth of the matter. So we mostly the employees are working to fill and close your FOIA requests. At this time, we turn it over to the attorney to also address the grass cutting bid FOIAs.
So everyone, I'm not on Facebook, so I have no social media presence. With regard to FOIA requests, I want everyone to understand that when you send a FOIA into the township, you would assume that there is a file
Now, this is the thing that pissed me off. This is the thing right here that pissed me off. Now, you see how this attorney is acting like the public is dumb to how FOIAs work. Sir, we have just had 3 years of FOIA education. We've been FOIAing before you came here to be talking. So you sitting up here telling us how a FOIA is performed. By now, we all know. By now, we all know how a FOIA is performed. We know, right? And then he says, when you ask for your FOIA, it's not like it's in a folder. Well, why not? Because you should, somebody, whatever department, if I ask for a contract, whatever department that contract is coming from, they literally should have a folder marked contracts. My God today. My God today. My God today. And then they get chastised by the okay. My God today. By now we all know how the FOIA process works because we all been using it for the better part of 3.5 years. But, you know, I just cannot compute in my mind. I work in the senior services department and somebody send me a FOIA, the clerk send me a FOIA and say, somebody want to see the contract for such and such and so. And you telling me you got to go and search all over God's creation when you should just simply have a folder on your desktop that says contracts. You should click it, open it, and then put in the search bar the name and that contract come up. Child, somebody help me. Because is it me? Is it me? Is it me? How many of y'all assume there's a file somewhere? Beulah. Clay, you and the attorney take over and smirks. Agree that we can wonder. Very condescending. Very condescending. And very backhandish. Did you hear him say, well, I'm not on Facebook? Well, sir, with the way you look, we don't expect you to be. But what you want to say? This is crazy. Because we could sit here and do that all day. Okay? But somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If I am sending a FOIA about a contract from a department, you should send that FOIA. They should have literally on their desktop a folder that says contracts. And all they need to do is go in there, type search in the search bar that says for that folder and type in the name they're looking for and the contract should come up. You mean to tell me you got to search through emails for contracts? For copies of contracts? These are the clerical skills that we are using? I cannot.
It would be, for example, landscaping or grass cutting. There is not. So what this is required us to do.
Well, there should be, because what do they call it? The ZAP program should be a folder on somebody's desktop, because that's the grass cutting one. And they should literally go in there and be able to type in a search, grass cutting contract, and find the most recent dated one and say, this is it. See, the problem is, right? Hey, Goddess Watts, how are you? The problem is that the McCaskills allegedly have the grass cutting contract for the township. And how did that happen? Because when did the bid go out? Was there a bid that was put out? One thing I do know, the McCaskills got Harvey on lock because they got the grass cutting at the city, at the village. They got the grass cutting at the park district. I don't know where else. They could have the grass cutting at the schools. They could have the grass cutting contract at the library. That's why everybody asking for that little contract, because the township is about to be overrun with people who live in Harvey. Is anybody else that live in any other of these 17 municipalities going to be able to work there? Somebody make it make sense for me. Goddess, listen. Listen when I tell you. It says, why does a single FOIA request cost $3,000 to $5,000? Thank you, Paul. That doesn't make any sense. And who agreed to that? When did the attorney, the township attorney, get changed and then rehired? Was that the swearing in meeting, Paul? Did they do that at the swearing in meeting? And why didn't the public get to see the contract first before it was voted on? They make it sound like they are going, okay. I feel like they going having to tap somebody on the shoulder and they having to walk down these long hallways filled with files. Maybe we stumbled upon what the problem is. Everything is a mess. Child, somebody lying. At least 4 people have sent in FOIA requests about the grass cutting contract awarded to Rodriguez Lawn Care in April. Yeah, I did. I was one of them, Paul. Right? And if we all asking for the same thing, what you doing? You doing one query. Don't sit up here and ask like somebody sending something and it's slightly different. No, it ain't. We all asked for the same thing. Who got the grass cutting contract for Thornton Township? Period. But it's not the Rodriguez Lawn Care. Because allegedly it's the McCaskills. Are they the Rodriguez Lawn Care, Paul? Somebody tell me something.
Is to track down documents by searching emails, searching other sources, and going back to prior counsel to get a copy of signed agreements and other documents. One of the things that we are addressing is creating a centralized database for all these documents. None existed.
So you can create a centralized database, but you can't have a proper budget. You can have an audit of the finances. We can create a centralized database for FOIAs, but we can't get an audit. So I want to talk about that. They should be organized with the system and procedure so that the records could be assessed. Okay. My question is this. Napoleon's going to make the comment that there's an ongoing FBI investigation. That's why the CPA firm is still there. That's why Robert is still there. My thing is this. Why couldn't you put out the RFP for the audit, but not hire nobody? You got the RFPs. You put it out there for the bids. We are collecting bids. You could tell the public, at least we put the RFP out there. We're going to collect the bids. When this investigation is concluded, then we will already know who we want to choose. Why you couldn't tell the public that? Because that is at least a step in the direction of transparency. I just want to know why that couldn't happen. That's what I want to know. I don't care about none of this. I'm done with this. Napoleon literally let these 2 people talk so that the media is not putting quotes of what he's saying in their reports. This is what the supervisor had to say. Because you know that's what Ben Bradley finna do. This is what the supervisor had to say. That way he can have culpable deniability. I didn't say that. I didn't even speak on that. 2 people in the administration have told me there's no grass cutting contract and that Rodriguez is on the job. One said they subcontracted the McCaskills without anything in writing. Correct, Paul. That part, the last part. Because I believe that the Rodriguez people were put in before Tiffany left. That was something that Chris and them voted on. But the McCaskill thing, how they even get a part of the conversation, subcontracting or not, they were supposed to be on the agenda with a contract. Child, this is a stall tactic. We know these tactics. Yes, they do wink wonder, and they cuts the grass everywhere. In Harvey at Village Hall, and in Harvey at the Park District, probably in Harvey at the library, probably any municipal or village building, they're probably cutting the grass out there in Harvey. Allegedly. But anywho, that's what happened in this meeting. We got scolded yet again for asking questions. We got scolded by the plants in the meeting, making public comment that we should let them do what they doing, which is interesting to me. But anyway, that's what we got. That is what we got.
When we like
Let's hear the rest of this and then I'm out of here.
here. So for example, when someone sends a request, we want all documents related to the RFP, who responded. They were not all in one place. They were in various places and various emails to be put together.
Again, why is this information in various places and in various emails and not put into folders where they belong? That does not make any sense. That does not make any sense. We're going to finish this and then I'm out of here.
With regard to other FOIAs that come in, every FOIA is taken seriously. FOIAs require us to provide you documents, not to answer questions.
When we FOIA for something, we're gonna expect for you to send us a box of food. What?
FOIAs are not designed to answer questions. You are entitled to see documents that you requested. So if you ask for emails related to a topic, a search has to be conducted, the emails will be retrieved and then provided to you. The cost of right now, just an estimate of cost, I'm not talking attorney time, is probably $3,000 to $5,000 of time.
He said he just talking about cost. He not talking about attorney time. So first of all, Paul, let's walk through this. First of all, the attorney is not even collecting the information. She just said, the clerk said that the staff is collecting the information and then forwarding it to the attorneys to redact everything and make sure that they have fulfilled the FOIA. So make it make sense to me what the $3,000 to $5,000 is for if we're not even talking about attorney time. Do you see this? You see this nonsense? Do you see this? The clerk said with her own mouth that the staff is collecting the information and then forwarding it to the attorneys to redact, to safely redact everything that needs to be redacted. And then she closes it out and sends it to you. He just said each one costs $3,000 to $5,000, and that does not even include attorney time. So what is the $3,000 to $5,000 for? The board is new and relies heavily on the $225 an hour township attorney. I was shocked to hear $3,000 to $5,000 is staff time, tech time per FOIA request. That is ridiculous. These people only work 8 hours a day. So how is each FOIA $3,000? And they're just researching emails. They're just putting in the search bar whatever. And why are they looking through emails? As a network administrator at School District 148, I was the one that collected the requested emails, text, or any other digital records and would forward it to the FOIA officer. So Gardis, so tell me this, Gardis. Tell me, how did you do such a thing? Gardis, would you come up on the platform? Because I want to know, I want you to tell the people how you collect this information and approximately how long does it take you to do so. Would you be willing to come up here and explain that to the people? Let me go to. Okay, I'm going to put the link in the chat. Okay, guys, there go the link. Because y'all need to hear this. Y'all need to hear this in real time. Y'all need to hear this in real time. And Gardis is knowledgeable about it. So we're going to hear it in real time from him. How long this takes. Because I know what I know now. Okay, Gardis is here. Let me take this down and then I'm going to put Gardis up. Hey, Gardis.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, and yourself?
Okay.
Okay, so since you're familiar with doing this process for the school district, please go ahead. You have the floor. Tell the people, your process, the process of what happens.
Well, it's a basic process. So generally, what happens is one of the FOIA officers would either contact me or contact my director of technology, and they would say, "Gardis, we need you to get emails from this person going to that person or whatever," because because sometimes too, I would have to look at the FOIA request as well to see what they're asking for and if it's even possible. So I look at it and it's like, all right, so, and then I get the data, and sometimes the data may be bigger than just sending an email. So what I would have to do is either put it on a portable drive that has enough information, or I would store it on one of our network shares that has some data on it, some room on it to store it, and then I forward it back to the FOIA officer, who either gives it to the attorney to look at it and redact whatever information, or to they give it to the attorney to go and redact whatever information, especially if it's a big file. Like, one time I had to sequester like 10,000 emails from somebody. So they have to go to the attorney, and then at that point, whatever they redact or whatever they take out, they give it to the superintendent, and they make the final decision to, okay, this is good enough. Let's send it out to whoever.
And so, Gardis, how long of a process could that be for you, like in hours? Like, they have 5 days. You have 5 days to fill the FOIA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how many hours do you say one FOIA would take? And let's do approximate over the many that you have done.
Well, it all depends. But under law, you can file for an extension.
Right.
So you could, because if it's like, say, for instance, we want all emails that went to the superintendent in the last 7 years. And just as a point of clarity, by law, we are only required to keep or archive 7 years of email at a public school like that. So somebody could say, hey, we want all emails that was going to the superintendent. That's going to take a while. So obviously that extension has to be filed, because it's going to take a while to even start the query or the e-discovery, as they call it, and find some space to put it on whatever drive it needs to be put on, so it could so it can go to the attorney.
Okay, so let's break it back. We're calm. I send a FOIA and I'm asking for all of the 9th grade teachers' licenses and applications.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're probably what, 4 or 5 9th grade teachers?
In the district?
No, just I'm gonna ask you for a specific school, because we're okay. Like, let's say I'm asking for the township, right? So I'm asking for the township. So I'm just gonna ask for one specific school, and I'm asking for the 9th grade teachers. I'm asking for their employment packets and their licenses, right? And let's say there's 4 of them. There's 4 teachers. Okay. Approximately how long do you think it would take? Do you think it would take the whole 5 days? Do you think it would take 2 days? How many hours do you think that would take to find?
Well, that wouldn't take long, because obviously the employment packet, I don't get involved in that. I'm only involved in the electronic requests, like I said, text messages or emails or documents that are stored on our system. I'm responsible for that, or they send it to me and I have to get it. But that something like that shouldn't take long, because for one, Employment packages are in HR. They can run off copies, redact the personal addresses, and actually the licenses you can actually get off of ISB and look there.
Right, but in the grand scheme of things, if I'm asking for something that is very specific, you got one specific place that you need to go to, right?
Exactly.
So it's not like a broad. So that's what I'm trying to get across, is that if you're asking for something as specific as a grass cutting contract, why should you be having an Easter egg hunt for it? You're looking for one specific thing.
That shouldn't take long. You could just walk up to a copier and copy it and scan it.
I'm just saying, him and the clerk is acting like when we ask for a specific thing, they having to go through 10 million documents.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, because let me tell you something. There are some FOIA requests that, like I said, I've had FOIA requests where they wanted 10,000 emails, and I had to get it. So, but something like that, something simple as finding a contract, that. Like go in the HR drawer and copy.
I mean, right? You should be organized, right? You should be like, oh, I got a folder up here with contracts. I'm gonna just click on it. That he literally sat there and said, "That's not what happens." Well, why? Because that don't make sense. That you gotta go through 100,000 emails to find a grass cutting contract.
Yeah, that's true. And Winky Wonder, it says, I would think an average FOIA would be more specific. As a person who, like I said, who's the network administrator, some of these FOIA requests are not specific, and we had to get clarity on it. So sometimes FOIA requests, we have to go back and be like, hey, can you clarify what you want? Because sometimes it's like, I want everything. And it's like, okay, what is everything?
Right. I mean, and I get that, right? But then once you're asking them a question, you can also ask for an extension at that time.
Yeah,
right? Because that has been done to me. They have asked me, send me an email and said, can you clarify, the dates? And then we're asking for a 5-day extension, so you'll get your answer on this day.
Yep. Yeah. So you get an extension, but and in specifics, and if I'm not mistaken, according to Freedom of Information Act law, especially pertaining to to like school districts, because I actually went to a seminar on this years ago, that the only thing that a person can get that works in a school district is the name, all of the titles that you've had in the district, and your salary, which you can actually get on the website.
Well, listen, as somebody who FOIAs on the regular, you can actually get their employee packet. I have a lot of them. You can, because they're working for a government entity, which has to be responsive to the public. So when you get hired on these school districts in any type of municipality, it is with the understanding that somebody can ask for your employment file and everything that is in it.
I you know what? If I could remember, under certain stipulations, I think.
Yeah, they redact a lot of things now. Don't get me wrong.
They redact a lot of things. You're going to get a whole bunch of black stuff on it.
You'll get some of the pages that are all black, right?
Yeah,
just because of the information.
Now, if it's federal or like a local law enforcement investigation, then you would be in every right to get all of that information, especially if it's a criminal investigation. But it's like sometimes these FOIAs, they're interesting wording when you kind of look at it, because like I said, when you ask for everything, and sometimes they ask for stuff that's already, like I said, already on the website. Like salary information is already on the website. Just go to the website.
I do it too, and let me tell you why people do it. Right? Why I do it. Because I know I can get it from the website, right? But if I FOIA it from you, is it going to be the same? There have been instances where I have looked at and got it off the website, but when I FOIA for it and got it, it was something different.
Yeah, and check this out. And check this out. So when I go on the Thornton Township website, now I used to work at Thornton Township, right?
Right.
When I worked there, salaries were posted on the website because according to transparency law of government officials, anybody that was making over 75,000 had to have their salaries posted on the website.
Oh man, that thing would be full of names right now.
well, here's the thing. Since when Tiffany got there, I didn't see it anymore. And it's still that way. I was trying to look for the salaries of Thornton Township officials, and nothing is there. I don't see anything.
I don't even think that they're listed in the budget by name either.
Yeah, so I'm like, are they violating salary transparency laws?
And who gonna check them? Because there's people all out in the audience telling us to let them do what they're doing. Ain't that right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
True.
Paul said it sounds like they're accusing us of wasting taxpayer dollars for asking questions they won't answer except through FOIA. Because they sure enough told us to FOIA the address to the highway building.
Yeah, and you seem like you have an IT background.
I do.
Yeah, and so you know some of the stuff that companies ask because this is required for us to do. Like there's certain stuff because I used to also manage the website, and it's like we got to have this on the website. Gardis, can you put this up, here or there? I'm like, sure, and then we have to have it at a certain period of time. So it's like, where's that at?
I mean, for me, it's a lot of things missing off this website, but don't nobody want you to talk about it. Don't nobody. It's a lot of things that we should be able to be accessing, but don't nobody want to talk about it. Because where's all the RFPs for the grass cutting contract? They should be on the website. You should just like Dalton got now. If you go to Dalton, you click a button that says RFPs, and it brings up a whole list of whatever they got out there. And it should be the same at the township. So I'm just like, it's a lot of things, but people don't want you to be saying anything because the super senator is in the seat.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying that's what we doing.
People looked at me strange last year when I was like, I'm not voting for Napoleon, but everybody was so gung-ho about getting rid of Tiffany, which she deserved to get rid of, but I was like, Napoleon ain't the answer. But
I didn't see any candidate that really was the answer.
You know what? And I feel you on that one.
Not the Republican, not the independent, not the Democrat. I didn't see anybody that really was.
I didn't see anybody neither.
But that's a lot of the problem out here. Do you agree? Do you agree that our problem out here is choices? Our problem sometimes is not, having something that is not having a ticket. It's the choices on it.
Well, also too, the choices are bad because the thing is we don't grow these candidates in amongst the community and the people. These candidates just come out of nowhere, claiming that they're part of the community. Like Napoleon moved out of Harvey years ago when he started playing football. Now all of a sudden he's back, and people still question if he lives in the city. But that's either here, near, or there. And I know he owns his business, in Harvey, but at the same time, is he grown by the people? Have the people been able to approach him? What has he done outside of just his work in the legislation, with the people? And for my money's worth, I talked to several people who have worked for Napoleon, and they don't have much good to say about him. I don't know him like that, but just from the people, like I said, who directly work for him. And so that's why I've always kind of like thought he might not be the candidate that we want.
Well, for me, he's never listening to anyone. I don't care even if you're talking to him, he's always looking somewhere else. And then if somebody say, "Oh, let's get a picture,"
yeah, exactly.
He's ready. He is photo op ready. Do you hear me? So I don't, I really don't feel like he's listening because He doesn't care. For me, it's about the board. It's about the people that are living on this local level with us that need
Yeah.
to be talked about and to, because
Yeah.
he does not care. And for me, here's the other part, right? The other part for me is that we need to really take a look at these rules and laws that we have in order for you to run, right? Because just because we all might know that he don't live in Harvey, we got to be able to prove it, right? But because they have on the books that you have to be registered voter in that area for a year, right? Boom, check that box. Then they say you have to own property. He owns a townhome around the corner from the Beggar's Pizza. Boom, check that box, right? He paid water bill, he paid light bill. Don't matter how much it comes to, a bill comes there. You see what I'm saying? We have to begin to look at these things, right? We got to begin to look at these specific things. How do we tighten that so somebody just can't do whatever they want? So if I go over and I buy a property over in Dalton, you can't prove that I don't live there. I might own 2 properties, right? I can stay wherever I want to stay. But I say, oh, I'm a register in Dalton and I'm a run in Dalton, but I might lay my head somewhere else at night. But that ain't none of your business, because I fulfilled the requirements according to that law, right? Those are the processes we need to begin to look at.
Yeah, and you know as well as I do, this has been happening for years.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's been happening. I mean, there were questions about William Shaw living in Dalton, you know, and I remember his brother Robert tried to run for mayor of South Holland because I guess he bought a small little house in South Holland to claim that he was living here, but technically he wasn't. But he thought he was going to win about 20 years ago, and the black folks in South Holland was like, you know what? We would love to have a black mayor in South Holland, but it ain't you.
Listen, what if that's crazy. What if we made the requirement that, right? Let's say you have children. You have to have your children registered in the school district. Going to school, going to school, even if it's a private school in the district, in order for you to run. That will stop a lot of this.
Yeah.
That would stop a lot of people. See, because we got to begin to start looking at other things, other ways and means, because you can't stop people from owning property, right? You can't stop people from changing their address if they own the property to that address. You can't stop people from registering to vote if their address says what it says on their driver's license, right? So we got to start looking at other things. And then we can begin to stop some of this, because we know for a fact he absolutely will not register his kids in Harvey. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We got to start looking at these things on how we can make a difference. But for me, it's really going to start with that. You can't hold 2 seats. It don't matter what seats they are. You're going to hold this seat or you're not going to hold. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that is the overarching thing that we need to address, is these multiple seats. And it doesn't matter if they're non-compatible or compatible. You can't hold but one. So choose wisely.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Yep.
Paul says, how difficult would it be to make Thornton Township's elected offices nonpartisan, excluding Democratic and Republican candidates like Lansing, South Holland, and most of the other municipalities? Wow. What do you think about that, Gardis?
Well, here's the thing. So South Holland actually has its own political party. They have the Heritage Party. So they're not Democrat or Republican. But they do. South Holland some years ago used to be Republican. Like Don Graff actually used to be a Republican. But the thing was that when he started to see the demographics change in South Holland, about 20 something years ago, he started seeing more blacks coming in. He didn't want to switch Democrat. So what they did was they created something called the Heritage Party, just as kind of like as a mid ground to, not being Republican, because obviously, 90% of blacks hate Republicans. They'll never vote Republican. So obviously, if DeGraff wanted to keep his seat, he couldn't be a Republican. So that's why
I have voted many. I'm gonna say this on camera. I have voted many Republicans, especially judges, because if that other one ain't doing nothing, then and my other choice is a Republican. That's what I'm doing.
And I agree, but I mean, you're probably the minority of black folks.
True.
So yeah. So the thing was that he switched, and like I said, the Heritage Party, and I remember having a conversation with Zuccarelli about his relationship with DeGraff, because their relationship was very contentious early. Zuccarelli being a Democrat, Zuccarelli being a Democrat and DeGraff being a Republican, and actually the seat of Thornton Township being in South Holland, caused a lot of political static between those two. But I think towards the end, and one of my last conversations with him, he said that, they've come to an agreement. That's what he said. they've come to an agreement.
Listen, when two politicians tell me on opposite sides of this other aisle, tell me they came to an agreement, yeah, I'm thinking I know what type of agreement you talking about.
Well, because here's the thing. The only politician Frank Zuccarelli could not move is Dom DeGraff.
Yeah, and for me to see him at the swearing in Dalton was huge, because he does not attend anything. Nothing. You can't find him anywhere, because he doesn't go to anything. You're not gonna find a picture of him nowhere. So to see him at the swearing in, I was like, oh. What is happening? For me, Paul, hey, Kathy, how are you? For me, Paul, I feel like that would open up a wider opportunity for candidates, right? It would be a better pool, maybe, of candidates. I hate the whole party thing, right? Because at the end of the day, a politician gonna politician. It don't matter if they're a Democrat, Independent, or a Republican. If they're gonna lie, they're gonna lie. So I don't feel the need for any type of parties because of that reason.
Because they adhere to the corporate standards of Democrats and Republicans, instead of adhering to the politics of the people. And I think that's the most important thing, because a lot of these politics, a lot of these politicians, they don't adhere to their voters. They adhere to the people that support them financially and economically. It doesn't matter if if 10,000 people voted for you. What I'm going to listen to is who was the one that paid me the most money during my candidacy.
Listen. Listen, it's something big coming to my platform. I think I'm working out the details of a town hall that I'm going to be doing with Jesse Jackson Jr. And it's going to be in Dalton, and I want everybody to attend. They can attend in Dalton, because he's running for the 2nd Congressional District, right? And I think this is going to be a good opportunity for you to be able to come out and ask your questions of him directly. So I will be interviewing him the first hour, and then the last hour we will be taking questions from the public.
Okay. And I think I might be interested in that.
I'm going to put the flyer on my page. I'm going to try to put the flyer everywhere that I can put it. And I think this is going to be very important, right? Because Jesse Jackson Jr. is not an accepted Democrat, so he doesn't run under the machine. because he was ousted when he was convicted. So, yeah. And so he does not run under the machine. He has endorsements from Bobby Rush, and a few other people. Nobody that I dislike, I'll say that. But you all will be able to ask him the questions. And I want everyone, at least in Dalton, Harvey, River, all of the surrounding areas that he's going to be represented, because Robin Kelly is not responsive to the public at all.
Well, she's talking about running for the Senate seat.
Yeah, she's trying to run for Dick Durbin, but who gonna vote her? She's not responsive at this level. Like that to me is baffling. Like, no, you didn't give up your seat, but you did the right thing for us because you wasn't doing nothing in that seat anyway. When the people called you for help with Tiffany, you was nowhere to be found because the machine told you to be quiet.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling the candidates for the Senate either. So
yeah, so I'm just like, yeah, me neither. I looked at them and I'm like, I don't want to vote for neither one of these. Now, Raja, maybe, but as far as the lieutenant governor, no. She sat there and let Princess sit in that seat and ain't signed not one corruption bill. No, ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna get off of here because you're about to get me started.
Listen, we'll have to come back. We'll have another debate because me and you, that's what we do, back and forth.
Yep. All right, I'll talk to you later.
And so, okay, no problem. Thank you for coming on, though. I appreciate you.
Oh, okay, no problem.
All right. Okay, y'all. So, yeah, it shouldn't take that long to do it for it. Paul, what'd you say? Every few elections, Lansing creates a new name for the party that most of the trustees agree to run in, but there are no ties to Springfield or DC. I like that. I think that would be great because then that will open up the pool of candidates, right? Lots of people could run. Lots of people that you would like to see could run and not have to worry about monetary and campaign contributions and all of that stuff. But listen, those were my thoughts on a recap of this. I didn't mean for this to go that long, but I think it was a good educational talk for you all. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you could, just hit the like button, share it if you will. If you don't, it's fine. My private community, my members only, we got a live to do tomorrow night. We need to finish up the cold case files that we're doing. So we're doing cold case files in my members only. Y'all know what that means. So we'll be doing that tomorrow night. Okay? Tomorrow night, we'll be doing that probably around the same time that I started this live so we can get out of the way, get to a stopping point. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks, Gardis, for coming up. If some of you didn't know, at one point, Gardis thought he was my enemy because of certain other things. But as you can see, me and Gardis are fine. So, and I appreciate him for coming on and even tuning in. And so tomorrow night in members only, we back on our cold case file. Man, and it's going to get even juicier in this cold case file. All of my members, if you in there, we stopped at a certain point, and it's going to get even more strange these next few documents that we've gone through. Okay? All right, listen. I wish nothing but blessings for your life. And if you cannot be good, be quiet. Let people do their content. Let people say what they want to say. You tune in to the people you like. Don't tune in to the people you don't like, okay? Just let somebody else tell you about it. Don't go watch them. Don't go talk about them. Don't say nothing. Just move around. That's what I'm doing. Just move around, okay? Thank y'all for spending this time with me, okay? You happy you made it to the end? Okay, good. Thank you, Winky Wonder. I'll see y'all on the next one, okay? On the next one. I hope you wake up and your dog licks your makeup. I hope you get ready for work and you can't find your shirt. I hope you go on a date and your man asks for space with no place for excuses. I hope he just deuces. With no money for bail, and you end up in jail, but you let the tale. Your space is invaded by the hatred.
create. Trying to run through a village, lie, steal, and pillage. We need personal space.